Hello, it's Josh here. This is going to be a quick whistle-stop tour of something called Geegeez Gold, which is without doubt the main reason I went from an unprofitable punter to a profitable one. And it's a piece of kit and a set of tools that I use every single day to help me try and beat those bookies. So this is geegeez.co.uk. A free blog. I think it's one of the first ones I ever came across back when I started out getting involved in racing, and it really is a fantastic resource. But the bit I want to show you is the subscription side, and what Geegeez Gold is, so you can have a look. So mainly it's kind of revolutionary race cards in a sense, which bring a lot of information together that allow you to look at racing, look at a race with every kind of bit of information you can think of, as well as saving you time. And the idea is that it brings a lot of things together in one place, really, so you don't need to keep flicking around all these other different resources out there. And it also has a lot of features which no other resource has, not for the price any rate. So what we're going to do is have a look at a few races, and I've had a flick through last night to make some bets today, and maybe the best one to start with as an example is this rather looking awful Class 6 handicap at Beverley. So this is what the race card looks like. I'm conscious of time, so I'm going to kind of flick through this, and the best thing to do really is to try the £5 trial for 14 days. You can get used to it yourself really and have a proper play around. But so you can see the race card there. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is all of these icons across the top. You've got the recent form of the horse, which if I just click down, I'll just go through each one quickly, so you can click that and it pulls it down for every horse. That obviously you can see there is quite self-explanatory. The in-running notes are over the top if you hover above. These are the ones taken from the Racing Post, I believe. And then the thing I want to highlight is the then what feature. So this is the first really cool piece of kit that's part of Geegeez Gold. So you can see how many horses have run subsequently from the races and how they've performed. This is particularly good to see if a race that the horse has won has worked out very well. Even better, I suppose, if you like betting in maidens and races with unexposed horses. But you can see there, if we go down, Lazy Sue, not much has come out of the races that he's been racing in. So on and so forth. So that's a really good bit of information really to help you decide and to put a value on the form of a horse. We've then got jockey form, and this is where it really starts to get interesting. So you've got the jockey form over the last 2 weeks and the last 30 days. Some people put a lot of value on a jockey being in form and feeling confident. I don't necessarily, although I do like to pay attention to the course form. Some jockeys ride courses better than others, obviously. So the course form for every horse I've ridden in the last year and since 2009. So again, at the click of a button, you can see that. You can see their profit loss to level stakes and each way as well. So flicking down there, yeah, you've got all the jockey form. As I said, both recent and at the track. Mr. Dodsworth, what's he? Oh, he's inexperienced, but he's yet to win at the track, and so on and so forth. So that's the jockey form. Trainer form, again, that's quite self-explanatory, but very useful nonetheless. So for each horse, each race, you can bring down the trainer form for the last 14 days, the wins, the places, the last 30 days the same, and again the course form for the last year and since 2009 for all their horses. You'll see here, this is what got me interested, and I'll show you the route through which I arrived at this horse. Mr. Turner since 2009 is 6 from 11. 72% have placed, so he doesn't send many to Beverley, but when he does they normally run well. and there you go, Mr. Harrington yet to have a winner in 17 starts. So again, all this information at the click of a button, which is hard to find anywhere else if you're using normal tools, certainly that quickly. There's head-to-head records as well, so you can see when horses have taken each other on and the results, whether they lost, whether they beat them, etc. There's all the comments. Again, these are taken, the spotlight comments from the Racing Post. So you've got all of those there if you'd like to read those. And then you've got breeding data as well, or breeding comments I should say. Again, they're probably more useful for unexposed horses in terms of, or any horse really that's stepping up in distance mainly. So that's the race card. To the right here we have speed ratings. These are produced by Mr. Dr. Peter May, I believe. I have no idea how they're calculated, but they are fascinating. And for certain races, when there's a clear kind of speed figure and horses stand out, they really are interesting how well they perform. And again, for more unexposed horses, they're interesting in kind of group and listed races as well. Looking at the speed ratings are fascinating as well. So there's all that information there, as well as the overall, as well as the official rating as well. I want to now just click on the Instant Expert tab. This is the wonderful piece of kit which saves no end of time. You can see here you can change the going actually, so if it rains, if there is any change in the going during the day, if it dries out, you can change that there. You can change the class and put bands so you can see horses' performance from say class 4 through to class 6. Distance you can change, and the field size as well. So what I've got here is the win stats. So the idea here is at a glance you can have a look at the horse's form in the going, the class, the course, the distance, field size and their rating. So you can see here Bosham, for example, is £8 below his last winning mark. Vermont is £8 above his last winning mark. Now what you want to see really is lots of green and amber, and red is not so good. And it's interesting in this race, I found, in terms of the distance at 5 furlongs, how very few have actually yet to prove that they can win at 5 furlongs, or they don't win very often, which I suppose you may expect in an awful class 6 race. But anyway, Bondi Beach Babe looks interesting. Course form is always interesting as well. That's the win form. If you put the place form on there, that brings up the stats for horses that have placed, so that allows you to have a quick look to see how competitive the race may be, which horses you can exclude, which horses you may want to focus on. Importantly, you can use the crosses here to knock out horses that you're not interested in, and use it to narrow down the field or to focus in on one horse. And finally, I'll just on this particular race card, there's the full form filter. Now this pretty much allows you to bring up any horse here, which you can click on as well. Let's take Bondi Beach Babe, and it allows you to look at future race entries, and all the form here. Where are we? There we go. So you've got all the form there, all the what's next, and importantly you have all these filters. Now this is the great thing. So you can filter it by the going, distance, to look at the horse's form across all those aspects. And there's the today box, which is great. So you can look at a horse's form in exact conditions to today. So this would be 5 furlongs, class 6, on good to firm, and you can see there 1 from 4, 1 second, and that win was actually last time out. So that allows you to go through every single horse and to get a fuller picture of their actual form, and you can actually just click on the horse and that will bring up the full form filter, and you can go through it and have a look. So that's the main bit of the race card. I'm just going to jump to the 220 at Sandown. And I'm actually recording this on the 3rd of July 2015, and it's currently 2:15, and this race goes off in 5 minutes. So we'll be able to see what the result is. But the bit I wanted to just show this, the final part of the race cards really, is the pace analysis. This is nothing I'd ever really seen before, and using these cards got me into understanding pace. So basically a 4 is attributed to a horse if they led last time out, a 1 is if they were held up, and it basically has the record for the last 4 runs. So you can build a picture in your mind of how the race is going to pan out. And here I found it interesting at Sandown, low draw Midlander for Mark Johnston, just likes to get on with it, and it's highly likely, I'm hoping, that he may try and get on with it at Sandown, maybe bag the rail and lead all the way. You have the speed ratings there as well. They're interesting to use if you can find front runners, say, that have the highest speed rating. They tend to do well. And equally, if there is lots of pace in the race, so there are lots of 4s, lots of horses pushing the pace, which in truth there are quite a few in this as well, the race may actually pan out that it'll be better for a hold-up horse, and as the leaders tire and come back to the rest of the field, it's better to be on a hold-up horse. But the point here is it's fantastic information that allows you to visualize a race, and you've got all of this here within the click of a button or two. You can go through, you can have a look at the form, you can get a better idea of the picture of the race, all with the intention of providing lots of information, which is very important to how the race will pan out, all at the click of a button. That's very quick and easy to use. And you know, with these tools like this, it's if you're focusing on certain races or however you like to bet, it's challenging not to be profitable over the long term, really, in my opinion, and from my experience. The final thing, so that's the race card, so that's one aspect. There's kind of 3 main aspects of the Geegeez Gold package, and I'm wary that I want to be not going on for too much longer. But finally, there's the report section. Now this is absolutely brilliant. So I will start with the shortlist. Now this brings up those that have a decent record in the instant expert tabs. You saw those greens and etc. Now this is a bad example. Maybe we'll have a look at tomorrow. So yeah, here you go. So this just gives you, this brings up the horses that have a kind of perfect record across those profiles of going, class, course distance and field size. Now of course that isn't everything to how the race will pan out, and it's a good starting point for going to look at the race further, as an example. I do know Matt, the guy behind the site, and I forget the figures, but he's just backing those that have a score of 15. Continuously, as if it were a system, has been very profitable to follow since he launched this service. So that's the shortlist. I look at that and glance at it and maybe dig into others during a day, but the ones I personally like, well, you've got horses for courses. You can bring up horses with good course form, head-to-head records, the trainer stats. That's something I look at every day. Brings together all these stats in a great place, and the great thing here is once it's loaded, you've got filters, which is very important. If you look in the top right hand corner, you can have all their form and filter it and just look at their handicap, the form with the handicap runners. Now obviously some trainers don't bother with non-handicaps and maidens because they're getting a mark, so those stats can skew the figures. So it's always great to have a look at handicap form. So you can have a look in 14 days, 30 days, the course for the last year and the course since 2009. Importantly, you can set up filters if you want to update, so you only bring up selections from trainers that have a certain a number of winners or win percentage. I personally just click the win percentage button here to see to have the highest and tapering down to the lowest win percentage in the last 14 days. Mr. Simon Crisford, you'll see there, is 4 from 5 in the last 2 weeks, has gang warfare at poor odds of 4 to 6, and etc. So yes, you can see there, they're quite self-explanatory. Mr. Halford, 5 from 15, and the great thing is, as you can see, when they have runners that are handicaps, or handicap runners I should say, you just click on the name and the horse drops down, and again you can go and look at the race in a bit more depth. What else? So we've got the other thing, so yes, 14 days, 30 days, again that's quite self-explanatory, but all of the stats are there. And the other one I like is course form since 2009. This is a great way in to see those trainers that have, target their horses at particular tracks. Clicking on the win percentage there, it's not hard. We saw the stats earlier. I actually looked at this report first last night before looking at the 8:45 at Beverley. Bondi Beach Bay was 9 to 2, and there were 4 places, and I've had a small each way bet I can't see her being out of the top 4, but it is a Class 6 race and you never know. But the trainer is 6 from 11, 8 places, doesn't mess around when sending horses there, and the horse is very consistent. And as you saw from that Instant Expert tab, looks to have a decent profile as well, with lots of horses that are unproven in the race conditions. And there you go, as you can see, going down, Ray Guest has Glenealy Girl, currently 3 to 1, that's in the 7:45, very decent and respectable track record, etc. So you've got all those stats there at the click of a button. So that's the trainer stats form. You've got the same there for jockey stats. A couple more quickly to focus on is the trainer jockey combo. Well, once this loads, again, this is a great little report that I like to use, looking at those trainers and jockeys that have just been in form in general. You'll see there I don't bet a lot in non-handicaps, so all of my settings are generally for handicaps for all of these reports. So we've got the 14-day form that you can go down, see who's in a decent form the last couple of weeks. Again, Halford and Foley there, and Johnson and Joe Fanning. Again, Denzel Lane there, so they've been in form the last couple of weeks. You've got the same stats for 30 days, and then you've got the course form and course form since 2009. Again, that's quite self-explanatory, but worth a look. As I said, I just click the win percentage to bring up kind of the highest down to the lowest. Oliver Sheldon and Leighton Aspel, Newton Abbott interest me there. They're 3 from 4 in handicap since 2009. Run Lemon Bay, who's currently 12 to 1, and so on and so forth. So that's a decent way in again, before going maybe to look at the race in more depth. You might be able to find some angles there, and that's a great source of winners for me personally, the trainer jockey combo. And then you've got, this is a fantastic report, the trainer handicap first run. We know some trainers have a superb record with their horses when they run for the first time in a handicap. So yes, you can look at the 5-year form, or the course 5-year form there. So Mr. Hills at Haydocks, 3 from 5 in the last 5 years with his handicap debutants. And then you've got all the general form just for the last year, the last 2 years, and so on and so forth. It's interesting for the last year that Oliver Sherwood has done okay, 21%, 35% place, and yeah, we saw that with Lemony Bay in terms of his record with Aspel at Newton Abbott as well. So that starts to become an interesting horse maybe, although it doesn't look like the market fancies it. So there we go, really. That's that. Then you've got trainer change. That brings up the record of trainers that have a superb record or not, when they are running a new horse, or a horse new to their stable for the first time that they've taken from another yard. Again, that's another interesting angle in. You'll see David Bridgewater there, Neil Mulholland. And again, you've got the win percentage, the place percentage. You can have a look at the course form as well for trainers running new recruits. And for those of you who like betting in 2-year-old races, I don't personally, on the flat you've got the record with 2-year-old first time out, which is another superb addition to our armoury in terms of the information. And you'll see in the last year that Roger Varian really is struggling with a 0 from 47 record, and you'll see there in the 8 o'clock at Haydock, Harlech at 9 to 4. With that record in the last year, I'm not sure if I'd want to be taking that short a price about that runner if I was having a play. So again, yeah, 2 years course, 5-year form, etc. So they're all the reports. There's plenty more there. As I said, there's different ones at the top there, horses for courses. And the other thing I want to point out here at the top, there's a forum that's exclusive for Geegeez Gold subscribers, which number in the hundreds now, and there you can share any thoughts you have, ask questions. It's a great little community. There's a tip league, so if you like pitting your wits against other users, as you'll see here on the race card, you can tip a horse. If I click there, and you can put a stake in, and there's monthly prizes there. I think it's £100 in cash possibly, if you come top of the tip league each month, so that's quite good fun, and adds to your excitement and enjoyment of the sport. And finally, I want to point out stat of the day, which is this is free to all people that come by the blog on Mondays, but only available to Geegeez Gold subscribers for the rest of the time. And these are the only other tips I follow personally, and I don't really, they're not really tips, it's more of an educational piece. And what I like when if you're following other people putting up horses is their reasoning, and this is, as it says on the tin, stat of the day. Basically one bet a day, and they derive, Chris, the main guy behind it who pulls it together, derives the selection from various different stats he uses, and the race cards and various different things. And the thing I'll point out here is the results, which I'll just have a quick look at my notepad, because I had a look. June, just for one bet a day at level stakes, were, let's have a look, yes, 11 winners from 25 bets. There's no bets on Sundays, for a profit of 24.28 points to level stakes. And overall, since Stat of the Day started a couple of years ago, it's now 334 winners from 1,154 bets. That's around a 29-30% strike rate, for a profit of 290.5 points. It normally averages somewhere between 80 and 100 points a year, so even if you're betting at £5 a point, the performance of Stat of the Day so far has more than paid for subscriptions to Geegeez Gold, and all those race cards and all those bits of kit that I just showed you. So that's the end of this video. I think I've been talking for long enough. Like I said, I was a bit lost before I found this piece of kit. I knew the information I wanted, I had no idea how to bring it all together. As I'm sure you'll agree, the likes of the Racing Post and Sporting Life do not compare at all with the amount of information that you can get here, and it really is superb in helping you identify your day's bets, and obviously with the aim that we all have is to find more winners and to make more profit. So that's been my introduction to Geegeez Gold. Below this video you can take a 14-day trial for just the small sum of £5, and you can really get to grips with the whole package, with the race cards, with the reports. There's lots of how-to guides and video tutorials on how to use it, and I'm of course always available for any questions you want to ask me about how I use this bit of kit. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it interesting. I would urge anyone who hasn't tried this before to give it a go. You've got nothing to lose, and if you like finding your own horses and you want to kind of rely on yourself and your own initiative and your own skills, for me there is nowhere else to look other than Geegeez Gold. So this is me saying bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your day.